Thank you very much indeed. Thank you. Greater efficiency of a compound engine that used to steam during the First World War and probably used by the Forest Department for baling hay, all the horses that had been sent to France. In 1917, it was purchased by John Henson of Hoppost near Tamworth, Strumpshaw, where he spent the rest of his working life until purchased by the present owner in 1965 for preservation. And today it's owned and driven by David Dean. Yeah, they were very popular engine with the Preston tractor, the Marshall engine. Interesting in this one, as were many others, was sold by George Furlow's Stone Market. Without George Furlow, I think one has solid to see has been provided for the essential credit for the purchase of the new engine. Speaking of which, number 23 is the Rusty Fox traction engine built in Lincoln, as all good engines are. It was new in 1914 to my great-great-grandfather. In contrast to usual history, I'll give for everything we've been talking about more. Obviously, we've all seen war horse. The First World War very dependent on literal horsepower, because all these horses have to fed. The armed soldiers saw died until foreign units, which is going an engine like this, and a baler through largely women, the engine driver, the sergeant, and they would requisition haystacks and send one of these crews to bale the hay for the ship to France for the horses at the front. This engine made a national record, baling 242 tonnes of hay in a week in 1917. After the war, continued contract rushing and then rallying with my family ever since. Driven today by my father, Robert Humphrey, who has been with the engine for 51 years, and steered by Mr. Louis Probert. Okay, another one's followed in by Sissy. This is a Fowler A7 firing engine. It was a 20 tonne machine there, so built 1917. The engine was built in 1917 with her sister Bessie and named after the first owner, Paul Locke's nieces from Haverhill. They were both sold at auction in 1952 to a scrap dealer who kept them for 10 years. Alan Bloom then bought Sissy with Bessie, being purchased by Reverend Stewing, and the current owners purchased the engine from a Cheffin Vintage auction in 2001. New in 1912 to Saxton W.A. Noble Esquire, as we from Hall in Norfolk. 1938 went to Arthur Byrne of Great Hockham. Passed through several owners, still purchased in a dismantled state by Norman Miller for the market. Purchased by the present owners, C.A. Haylock, last year, and driven as ever by Mr. Bill Starling, who was driving the Haylock Summer engine last year, and that's steered by Sam, with his little radar ears. And very nice engine, that one, sprung on the back axle, and for a more comfortable ride. And like I said, another single track compound for greater efficiency. The first part of this life falling guns for the war effort, later moving to general farm duties. Purchased by the President in 1965, standing derelict for 16 years on the roadside at Lebanon. A new firebox was fitted in 91, and Nail has owned 52 years now, and is owned and driven by Nail Taylor and Judy Taylor. There we are, another regular at all East Anglian events. Familiar face, like this, 1960. An interesting point on this engine, if you look down under the boiler barrel, you see those bits of angled metal all hanging on a bar. Now they are spuds or clips or cleats, depending where you're from, and you can pin them on the back wheel. If you're in a wet stackyard or in mud, you can use them to get a grip to get yourself moving again. So not all engines carry them nowadays, so it's nice to see an engine there with a set of spuds underneath it. Anyway, that's followed by Boadicea, first of our steam wagons this weekend. This is the Foden C-Type, new to May Gurney and Company in Norwich, used for car spraying and worked for them to safety preservation by the late George Cushing of Thurston. Spent many years at the Bressingham Museum. It's now part of the Saunders Steam Collection and driven by Chris Way. Foden wagons are oversized wagons. They have the engine up above the boiler as per a normal traction engine. You can see it if you look at the chimney on the front there, and then there's a long drive chain, just like a bicycle chain, down to the back axle. So have a look at that as it comes past. Issue for the war effort. In 1919 it returned to England and was purchased by Devon County Council and converted to a roller. Rebuilt to its present form in the 1970s. The engine was purchased by the present owners in July 2012 and it's owned and driven by Peter and Jenny Cooper. Always very shiny Peter and Jenny's engine. Been up bright and early with the polish. brighter and earlier than I was anyway. And that's followed by another steam wagon, and I spoke to you about the phone a minute or two ago, the over-type wagon. The Sentinel is an under-type wagon. Those of you who are paying attention will probably work out why. On a Sentinel, the engine is underneath the chassis, under type the boiler, which is really pleasant, and pump up tyres, great the speed. This one is in the livery of the Wolf Brewery. It is from the stable of Merlin Mays in Yaxham. Yes, I know that one, Neil. I'll do that one. This is the very impressive 5 horsepower Burrell Showman's Road Racer boat with Nero. First Showman's engine to join us in the arena this afternoon. Worked for Bostock and Womble, who had a travelling menagerie. And they travelled from Cornwall to Edinburgh in a season. She worked very hard for them and then went on to threshing duties. Been owned for a lot of years now by Mr. Willem Middlemiss, who's driving today with his son Tom at the wheel. Recently been thoroughly renovated and overhauled. Was displayed here last year in road locomotive form, but here she is back as a Showman's engine. So these engines work with the travelling fares, transporting and then generating power for the fairground ride.
The luckily remains intact at Grantham Strumpshaw until 1967, and it's been purchased by the first owner from Storer Brothers, auctioned as a pile of bits in 1996 and completely overhauled, and today it's owned and driven by Robert Tyler.
So there we are, just for clarity, a steam tractor isn't really an agricultural machine. They are built for haulage and winching. For agricultural use, you'd have a traction engine, an agricultural engine, like number 20 here. Number 20 is a Ransom, built in Ipswich. The Ransom Sims and Jeffries, built for the War Department, sold in 1923 to J.P. Hymas and Sons of Burton Leonard in Harrogate, who used it for threshing and general agricultural purposes, and later for soil sterilisation for mushroom growing. So if you tap off the steam supply from the boiler, you can use steam externally, and one thing you can use it for is to steam or sterilise soil. And that was the sort of thing that happened towards the end of the working days. Steam engines. They were sold in 1965 to Barstrup Brothers for preservation, now owned by Mr. W.J. Kemble.
Captain the King family for over 50 years, until sold to the present owner, owned and driven by Merlin Mays.
So there we are, another example of a steam tractor. Garrett's are very popular, they've got high ground clearance, going with the trees down to the forest is one of them. This followed by a very fine plate traction engine, number 13 in your programme. Valiant, this engine spent its working life in Cambridgeshire and Hertfordshire. Albert Dean's old engine, this one, he used to race with Uncle Bob years ago. Then passed to the Aldridges, spent a little time out of the area, but for a number of years now it's been owned by Paul and Anne Blanche from Taborham, and driven today by Stephen. If you look on the back of the tender, you see that there's a long pipe hanging down there. We've looks like a watering can rose on the end. You could drop that into the water trough, not if the council are watching, but into a digital stream. And using steam, you can use the water lifter to fill the water tank up. So just an interesting little thing. A lot of these engines will have a water lifter on them and a pipe. Frank Baddow in 1930. She entered preservation in 1954 with Les Smith. Been attending rallies ever since. Owned and driven by Mr. Simon Bean from Wyndham. That's an engine that's come here under its own steam, and it's steered today by Elijah Bell.
Okay, number 17 here is a Marshall traction engine. It's called Emma. 12 tons, built in 1934. Spent working life with H. Holland and Son, threshing contractor Sachs London in Suffolk. Purchased for restoration in 1961 from the scrapyard in Hertfordshire, and has attended numerous rallies ever since. Purchased by present owner in 1984, and has recently had a crankshaft refurbished and new crankshaft bearings. And it's owned by Terry Beattie, driven by Darrell and Terry Beattie.
Betty. Betty, I'll get it right, I will do.
Well, it's 1913 apparently, not 1934. I'll try and remember that for tomorrow. I'll write on that in a minute.
I take no pleasure whatsoever in standing here watching you go round and round in circles. Anyway, I'll see if I can get the next one wrong as well. We can continue our run of luck if you like. This one is another Aveling roller. So we're all good so far. Number 42 is an 8-ton Aveling and Porter, built in 1914, new to George Porter of Clapham in London. Purchased by the Mack family in 1967 and restored, still owned by them. This is a single-cylinder slide valve. Most of the traction engines here are slide valve. The previous Aveling was a piston valve one. Aveling's considered that a development. See it coming. Anyway, this is followed into the arena by the big Foden Monarch, big road engine, this one. And this engine was Foden's yard engine for a little while, and then it was threshing for Barlow's in Cheshire. And it ended up in preservation with Commander Richard Hilton and attended early rallies, including Ellsworth in 1955. Then spent a period out of work standing in Stan Burgess's yard at Hadnam, and eventually he restored her and brought her out in 1986. He had her for a number of years before selling her to the Wild family, the Great Melt, who still own her today. They've carried out a lot of further mechanical work and fitted a new firebox with the help of Mervyn Mays, and spent various other little tasks just to keep the engine up to top scratch, as it were. It's another engine that's been driven here under its own steam this weekend, towing a very nice Fowler living van. Fodens are known for having their very large rear wheels on their traction engines and road engines, the theory being that the nice long spokes are more prone to flex than to crack or to break. So it's an interesting little thing there about Fodens. But they're very nice to see here. You'll see it has the royal crest on the side. Whether that means the King actually had a Foden road engine for running around Sandringham Estate is open to debate. But there we are anyway. There's the big Foden.
Okay, number 22 is a Ruston Proctor SH tractor engine called Rusty. It's built 1908. Engine's been in the Wheel family for 52 years. She recently received a largely new boiler, new back head, through plate, firebox, boiler tubes, and was made to be overhauled. The boiler work was carried out by Mervyn Mays, and this one is owned by the Wheel family and is driven by Richard and Becky Pace.
That's another engine that's been attending Norfolk rallies for many, many years. We've got many early pictures from the 1960s of Rusty and our own engine attending Weeding and various other places. So there we are, another traditional Norfolk rally. On each corner. When they get worn out, these tyres are very desirable to engine owners. If you get one the right width, you can cut it in half. They make a very smart job on an engine, make it a lot more comfortable on the road. It's better for the engine and better for the crew.
Okay, this is the one with the registration number that was different I've been looking for. This is number 26, it's the Burrell STC Devonshire Road Locomotive. This is 1899. It was exported new to Cape Town with a nameplate of A.R. Mackenzie & Co. attached. And the engine was fitted with a brake compensating gear, winding drum, front tank, and Davis and Sopper, London. Later exported to Australia. We
worked with the threshing business that we ran in 1916, and having set it to work on its first day, was immediately found to consume twice the coal or water it should have done. Great-great-grandfather said he wasn't keeping an engine that needed 2 fires to keep it going, so after 2 days' work, it was taken back to the yard, the wheels were washed down, and it was put back on the train and sent back to Stowmarket, never to be seen again. And we got a barrel single instead. Anyway, I was talking about steamrollers earlier, and how Aveling's built more steamrollers than anybody else. But, as I said, all the other manufacturers did build them, and here we have an example of a Marshall steamroller. An 8-ton one, this one, built in 1935, so quite late as these things go. And this one was new to Holland County Council in Boston in Lincolnshire. Purchased for preservation in 1981 by the present owner, G. Randall. And it's driven today by not Steve. David Birch. So there we are, that's another single cylinder roller. And now Neil's shrugging his shoulders. So I guess that's down to me. This is the Fowler Showman engine, owned by the Whitwell family from up north. And called Defiance. It's been largely built by the family's own efforts. There's a hell of a lot of hard work in that engine. You imagine having to build one of those wheels. It was an engine, well, it was the more remains of an engine that worked abroad that was brought back and has had an awful lot of work put into it to develop what we see there. It also has the distinction, probably last night, as being the last engine working on the field, and was giving us a bit of light outside the beer tent. So that's a new engine here at Strumpshaw, and thank you very much for bringing it along.
Okay, the next one they come in is a Marshall traction engine called Monty. It's a 10-ton from 1928 and supplied new to Renault Brothers, Hunstanks to Wall Farm, Ringstead, Norfolk, and has spent all its working life in the county. Purchased by Wesley King in May 1957 and was repainted and rallied until 1977 when it was displayed in the museum. In 2014, restoration was started to return to steam and back to rallying. So it was owned by Keith Younger and driven by Scott Bunting.
There we are. Here's an example. Those who remember us standing still in the museum for a long time. Scott and his friends have carried out an awful lot of work, and they've had help along the way from various people, including Mervyn Mays, to put her back in steam, which is a real credit to everybody that's worked hard to get her out and about again. Followed by another familiar face, this one. This was the last barrel traction engine built at Thetford. Rosemary. Rosemary spent her working life with the Bartruck family in Essex, who are Barry's ancestors. Barry Freeman's been rallying engines all for years and years and years, all round East Anglia and throughout. His engine's always a credit to him, and that's a very fine example. Some of these traction engines, if you look, they've got a set of rollers on the back, and most of them, they have a drum winch on the back axle. That's the winching your fresh and drummer belt or pulling the odd tree out.
Okay, number 47, there's the first of our steam cars there this afternoon. This is a Lucamobile style 2 steam car. This was built in 1901. It's built an original engine and passed by Homeless Farmer in 2007. It's owned today and driven by Jeff Scott Cuba.
And that's followed by John Gilbert with his family's Foster. A new build Foster, this one built in 2007 to original 1900 drawings. It's been owned by them since it was new, and it's attended every Strumpshaw rally since then.
Then we have another steam car. This time it's a Stanley EX. It's called Stanley as well. It's a 10 horsepower from build 1907. It's been owned for 3 years. It's replaced boiler and burner and repairs to axle and engine. And today it's owned and driven by Jeff Squirrel.
And that's followed by the S4 Sentinel owned by Mr. Dave Roberts down in Essex. This is the final development of the Sentinel steam wagon. And under time, as I said earlier, you can see the engine down underneath, but there's no bicycle chain on this one. It's a shaft drive, very similar to your modern lorry. So you can cruise along on a dual carriageway on this one at 45 or 50 with comfort. Every mod con you could say. And that one is in the Cadbury Dairy Milk livery. Oh well, Neil's looking blank, so I shall carry on. This is the Marshall double crank compound traction engine Winifred. Spent a lot of her working life with the Fensham family in Bedfordshire, and then into preservation with them, now owned by Mr. Tom Smith. Fitted with a very smart half cab there and rubber tyres on the back. Any points of interest that you might notice on the engines, they are here to be looked at, so do come and speak to us.
We've just got one coming in from the other end, I think, there.
Ah, well, that makes a change, don't it? Coming in the bottom of the arena, ladies and gentlemen, is Strumpshaw Museum's own Burrell Showman's engine, Princess Royal, an engine that's been here at the museum for a number of years. She was new to Scotland and then worked in Essex with Keeling family, Prussian contractors, and she's been here now at the museum for a long time and is driven by Mr. Chris Spinks. An interesting point on that engine there, there's a feast crane been fitted on the back. Some of the engines had a crane fitted. As fairground rides got bigger, you could lift heavier parts, obviously. It's made for less manpower. You could run the winch that's on the back of the engines that I mentioned earlier, feed it over the top of the jib and use the engine as a crane. So that was a little development just to make the showman's life easier.
Just to keep you on your toes.
Okay, I'll do that one as well then. That is Strumpshaw Museum's Foden Santa Maria. It's a D-type, originally a D-type tractor. It's now a wagon. It's been in the museum many years. It had boiler work carried out.
I'm so glad he's here. So anyway, as per tradition, we're going to do the whistle. We've done the whistle with the miniatures this morning, and we're going to do it again. And this will be very loud, so obviously if you want to protect your ears, please do so. So is everybody ready? I can see three faces. Yeah, there's a two. So we go. We ready? 3, 2, 1, go! Well, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely outstanding lineup of team engines here for you today. Hopefully we can get them all to come back in again tomorrow, when I might be able to hear something this morning. And we're going to do it again, and this will be very loud, so obviously if you want to protect your ears, please do so. So is everybody ready? I can see three faces. Yeah, there's a two. So we go, we ready? 3, 2, 1, go! There we have it, ladies and gentlemen, absolutely outstanding lineup of team engines here for you today. Hopefully we can get them all to come back in again tomorrow. Okay, next event here in the arena is going to be the motorcycle.